Hey, this is 𝘒𝙊𝙉𝙃𝘾 with Colorado Real Estate Group. You know, just when I thought that Colorado Springs real estate market really can't get any crazier, it just did. We are in an incredibly competitive seller's market, which means multiple offers on almost every listing for my buyers. So how do you win in a multiple offer situation? Well, I have 5 tips for you. The first tip is have your agent call the listing agent and ask what it takes, what the seller is looking for in an offer. Of course, many times it's the price, but other times it's certain conveniences. In the end, you have to prove to the listing agent that your buyer is willing and able to purchase this house. So how do you do this? And that's tip number 2. So there's something called an escalation clause. Let's say there's a house listed at $350,000. You're going to offer $350,000, but you don't know what the other offers are going to come in at. So you're thinking, well, I'm willing to offer up to $370,000. So the escalation clause will say, if another offer comes in that is higher than mine, my offer will automatically increase by, let's say, $1,000 up to $370,000. So let's say another offer comes in at $356,000. Your offer is automatically $357,000, and so on up to $370,000. Once there's another offer at $370,000, well, you're done because you didn't include that in your offer. But I think it's a pretty good chance. So let's say you do have that escalation clause and you're above list price. What else does the seller want? Well, the seller wants to make sure that there are not going to be any appraisal issues. So tip number 3, make sure you add an appraisal gap clause. So this means if the appraisal comes in low than the contracted price, you're willing and able to bring money to the table, depending on what that gap is. It doesn't have to be all of it. Some people just choose a certain amount that they're able to bring to the table, and that's sometimes already enough. So tip number 4, make sure you show the seller that you're not going to be picky. So that means if you have your inspection, that you're not going to nickel and dime them with little itty-bitty things. No, only if there's something huge. It's gotten so far that some of my buyers actually said, I will have an inspection, but I will not ask the seller for anything. I will just have a termination deadline in there, in the contract, which means they will have all the inspections that they want. They will not ask the seller anything for any repairs, but if there is a deal breaker, they can terminate the contract and get their earnest money back. No harm, no foul. Nobody would be happy about that. However, this is a great incentive for the seller, knowing ahead of time that, they are not going to be required to make any repairs. Last but not least, I will tell you the other day, what really made the difference for me is that the lender came back to me and said, hey, before you submit this offer, yes, I have a lender letter, but I also have a closing guarantee. And that guarantee said, if we don't close on time, we're giving the seller $5,000. And that was phenomenal. That was the kicker. Again, in the end, you just want to show the seller that you're willing and able to buy this house. You're not going to be picky. You're going to be easy, and you're not going to stand in the seller's way to, continue their real estate journey wherever it takes them. If you'd like to know a few more strategies that are a little more detailed and a little finer, just give me a call, 719-321-0800, and this girl will let you know everything she knows.